Today we're going to read the story of Peter Rabbit by Beatrix Potter and illustrated by Lisa McHugh. Look at him, he's just eating them their radishes, isn't he? Once upon a time there were 4 little rabbits, and their names were Flopsy, Mopsy, Cottontail, and Peter. They lived with their mother in a sand bank underneath the root of a very big fir tree. So they had a lot of room. "Now, my dears," said Mrs. Rabbit one morning, "you may go into the field or down the lane, but don't go in Mr. McGregor's garden. Your father had an accident there, and he was put in a pie by Mrs. McGregor. Run along and don't get into mischief. I'm going out." Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail, who were good little bunnies, went down the lane to gather blackberries. Just look at, they're all getting back blackberries. But Peter, who was very naughty, ran straight away to Mr. McGregor's garden and squeezed under the gate. First he ate some lettuces, some French beans, and then he ate some radishes. Feeling rather sick, he went to look for parsley. Parsley helps make your stomach feel much better when it hurts really bad. But first, the end of a cucumber frame, who should he meet but Mr. McGregor? Mr. McGregor was on his hands and knees, planting out young cabbages, but he jumped up and ran after Peter, waving a rake and calling out, "Stop, thief!" Peter was dreadfully frightened. He rushed all over the garden, for he had forgotten the way back to the gate. He lost one of his shoes among the cabbages and the other shoe among the potatoes. So now he doesn't have any shoes on. Just look at him, trying to remember where that gate was. He ran on 4 legs then and went faster, and he might have gotten away altogether if he had not run into the gooseberry net and got caught by the large buttons on his jacket. It was a blue jacket with brass buttons, and it was quite new. Peter gave himself up for lost and cried. His sobs were overheard by some friendly sparrows, who begged him to save himself. Just look at them. They come in and are telling him, talking to him. Look at them. They're quite the birds. But Peter wiggled and just in time, leaving his jacket behind. So there was Mr. McGregor with a basket. He rushed into the tool shed and jumped into a watering can. It would have been a perfect hiding place if he had not had so much water in it. Mr. McGregor was quite sure that Peter was somewhere in the tool shed, and he began to search it very careful. Then Peter sneezed, "Kerchoo!" and Mr. McGregor was after him in no time, because he knew then where Peter was at. Peter was trembling with fright, and he had not the least idea which way to go. He was also very damp from sitting in that can. He tried to find his way straight across the garden, but he became more and more puzzled. He came to a pond where a white cat was staring at some goldfish. She sat very still, but now and then the tip of her tail twitched as if it were alive. Peter thought it best to go away without speaking to her. He had heard about cats from his cousin Benjamin Bunny. So look at the fish. She was going to try to catch that fish. You think she'd eat it? Maybe. He turned back toward the tool shed when he heard the noise of the hoe. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Peter scudded beneath the bushes. When nothing happened, he came out and saw Mr. McGregor hoeing onions. His back was toward Peter, and beyond him was the gate. Oh, now he found the gate. How about that? Peter started running as fast as he could. Mr. McGregor caught sight of him at the corner, but Peter didn't care. He slipped underneath the gate and was safe at last in the woods outside the garden. Mr. McGregor hung up the little jacket and his shoes for a scarecrow to frighten the blackbirds away. They don't look like they're scared at all over there, do you see? See 'em? Peter didn't stop running until he got home to the big fir tree. He was so tired that he flopped down on the floor and shut his eyes. His mother was busy cooking. She wondered what he had done with his clothes. It was the second jacket and pair of shoes that Peter had lost in 2 weeks. Just look at him. He's so tired. And Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail are looking at him and probably wondering what's wrong with him. Peter did not feel very well that evening. His mother put him to bed and gave him a dose of chamomile tea, 1 tablespoon to be taken at bedtime. But Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail had bread and milk and blackberries for supper. So they had a good meal, but he just had tea. Thank you for listening today, and God bless you.